Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cosmic Panel, where today we are reviewing the long-awaited Agatha All Along Disney Plus series. If you guys have seen it, please comment below what you guys think. Remember to hit that like, hit that subscribe. We got lots of reviews coming up, and this is just one of them in a very busy season of comic book related content.
Yeah.
Um, so let's get into it.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. That's right. Always spoilers. Don't watch this if you don't want spoilers. Agatha All Along was a show that I had no expectations for. I thought it was
Same.
going to be stupid. Thought it was going to be bad. But I honestly thought it was a really fun time.
Yeah, I was genuinely surprised. I went in not even watching the first trailer. Like I went in that's how like uninterested I was in this show. Was
Yeah,
I
same.
was just like, you know what, I don't even care enough to watch the first trailer. If it like I'd heard about its production delays and all this, and I was like, when I heard this was first announced, immediately I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a mess regardless. But then we keep on hearing about the production delays, and I'm like, well, this is really a bad omen. Um, and then the episodes started coming out, and the first episode I think is like the weakest of the bunch in my opinion, um, because it's about breaking Wanda's spell. But once you get past that, the characters are so fun. The writing is so well done. Um, I love that the budget's so like you can tell that the budget's so decreased, but it makes every practical effect feel way more worked on. There's not like a CGI mess in front of your eyes 24/7. Um, like overall, this show blew me away. I'm not gonna lie, it really surprised me.
Yeah. For me, it was a show that I didn't know we needed. I thought they were going to kind of ditch the whole Wiccan and Young Avengers, characters. Um,
Especially
it,
after Multiverse of Madness.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I would say overall this was really fun. This was a very big love letter to witches and witch culture. They obviously had some very obvious references and some less obvious references. Um, as we go through the show, for me, I was starting to get fatigue on the show probably around like episode 5 or 6, but then it really lands. It has a really good landing um, that I think makes everything kind of worth it, makes the waiting worth it, makes ties up a lot of good plot lines, brings a lot of stuff forward. The road being a creation of Wiccan himself, I think was a really cool reveal.
Yeah, I genuinely did not see that twist coming. I was genuinely surprised, and Elias can attest. I'm usually the person to like call out twists and like character reveals, and like I like usually see them like a mile away because I'm just like that writing. I see too many of them. I was surprised by it, and that being Agatha's tell, that's how she knew that he was. It was like oh, this wouldn't be so dramatic if it was like seeing that context like with knowing everything. It's like oh oh and then also learning what the witches road was originally intended to be, which was just a way to trick witches to kill Agatha. I mean, to try to kill
To hit
Agatha, and
Agatha, yeah,
then yeah, to hit Agatha so that she could get powers is so funny.
yeah,
Um, and the fact that it comes from her son, and it's like, oh. And
yeah.
I think Death let her keep it because she knew that she would kill more people with that trick. You
Mm,
know, I think maybe that's why she let her keep it. Well, one, because she loved her, but also because it was like, well, if you do this, I get more bodies in the end. So like,
yeah. It was interesting. I didn't know what else they had to do. When I was watching episode 8, I was like, oh, okay, this is like, this is the end of the story.
yeah, it
But they
felt
really gave
very
us a lot
finale.
of good origin, stuff with Agatha in the last episode, obviously. And it was very just again rewarding to really understand uh, that there was a lot of deeper meaning to a lot of the stuff that we experienced throughout the show when it kind of felt very fun and surface level. If you go back and watch that now, knowing everything, it's just a whole nother level of detail.
Yeah, and also like the fact that they don't try to redeem Agatha. She is a villain through and through, and she dies a villain. And I really, really commend them for not trying to make her, oh, she's a misunderstood. No, she's a serial killer. Like she is a serial killer. She abuses people. She uses people. She's charming. Don't get me wrong, but like she isn't someone that you should be vying for attention from. Hence why Death is her ex. Uh, um, but yeah, no, I mean, can we go over some of the characters and like, because I really want to talk about some of the characters because I was surprised. I thought there were going to be a batch of nobodies, and I actually got really invested in some of them.
Oh yeah, big time. Lilia, I think, was my favorite.
Yeah, okay. Let's just give a
That
special
was the
shout out
best
to the
episode,
yeah, no, easily. That
I thought.
episode had to the great thing about that episode is that you had to do so much setup. You had to do so much setup because you have to had the entire script completely done and then know, okay, we're going to insert this line here, this line there, like you have to really as a like a screenwriter just plan that out to the max. And it works so like even the little like moment in episode 8 where it's like when she calls you a coward duck, I was like, bro, that's so good. But no, that episode might be honestly one of the best episodes in any of these Marvel television shows because it was just so
Low
and
key, I mean, it was the most creative use of time travel that I've seen
hundred
in
percent. And like
Marvel.
it was easy to follow. Like that's the crazy thing. Like if you explain this to someone, it's so easy for someone to be like, okay, I don't really get the vision. Like this might be a little bit too confusing for audiences. They they fucking pulled it off. They did it, and it's like that's wild. Like I'm genuinely impressed by that episode.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the characters as a whole. So I mean, I had theorized from the beginning that teen was Wiccan, but I
Yeah,
wasn't sure how they were going to do it.
but I was
Um,
also like, oh well, like he's not exactly the same look. Like that was my thing was like, oh, he's not exactly the same look, so maybe it's gonna be a
the
different character.
actor
But
looks more like Clarion than
I,
Wiccan, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, actually, I could definitely see a Clarion.
He
Oh
could
man,
definitely play
Clarion the Witch
Clarion.
Boy.
Yeah.
Oh man, with the little cat too. Oh man,
Hmm.
that'd be funny. Um,
But I was like, yeah, they're probably going to do that, but I'm not sure how they're going to pull it off. We'll get to that in a minute. Lilia, I don't know. I don't know if she's a comic character. Jennifer Kale, I know, is a comic book character.
I was surprised by enjoying her too.
Hmm.
I loved her little arc. I was also gonna say the Alice Wu Gulliver was interesting. I I actually really like that her character gets like killed and we never see a completion of her story.
Yeah,
Like it's
it's effective in a kind of compelling way.
yeah, where it's like no, this has stakes. Like you thought that you like I love when she talks to Rio and is like, "But that's it. I finally got rid of my curse and I die." Like I had so much light. It was like, oh man, that's
Yeah.
oh damn. But it's realistic. Um, did what? When did you think that Rio was death? I thought she was death like around episode 4 was like
Hmm.
when it started like clicking for me because I was like she started saying so much stuff about like getting bodies. And I was like that's strange. And like very like it was like a little bit weird. I was like getting bodies, okay. And then I was like thinking Green Witch. I was like, oh well, that involves life and I clicked in my head. I was like, ah. I was like,
Yeah.
that's a great casting choice, honestly, in my opinion.
Oh, she was great. Yeah. I wasn't really paying much attention to her, honestly. I thought she was just sort of supposed to be some,
Rivalry,
agent of magic that was for order, and she knew Agatha was, a long running villain with magic, or using magic. So I wasn't super paying attention to her in that way. Um, to make her death, and I guess technically, the Lady Death that we do know, is an interesting move because I hope that she's in further, projects. I hope that that actually becomes something because that is a huge
yeah.
part of the Marvel comics. Is Lady Death. So I hope that they can use that, and it's not just a one-off character to be like, oh, she's intimidating just in this one instance, and now we're not going to see her again. Because then that kind of takes the power out of it for me. You
Yeah,
know, if she is really this agent of, if she is death itself, we should be seeing her in a lot of stuff now. Like that's a big deal. And it just
yeah.
felt a little odd to me that they put it in this show as like the first reveal of like death.
I really liked it. I think it makes a lot of thematic relevance because so many of these characters were trying to do something involving death, whether it be cheat it, get another soul from it, escape it, basically with the curse. Like there's so many different things. Also, man, the practical like mask of like half her face being a skull, that was like so cool. Like that like that little thing where it's like it's a practical thing and it's not a CGI thing, and it's like that scares the fuck out of me. Like that's so cool. But I mean,
My
you don't really
favorite
need to have.
practical moment was when she just cut the
Yes,
backdrop and just stepped through it. That was sick.
that was so cool. I was like, oh man, that's such a creative use of doing that. But no, that's such a simple thing, but like you do it and it looks good. Like like I also like during that moment was like, oh, that's so cool. I wonder how many backdrops they had to go through.
Yeah.
Like they probably had like five just in case.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. Also, I love the fact that like she she isn't a good person either, but she's very much like a balancing. Like she's a worse person with Agatha, of course, which is really funny. But like she's not mean, like per se. Like she's like, no, I have to kill Billy. Like one of us. Like to be honest, she could have killed both of them, and that would have been like. But she's like, no, I'll honor our arrangement. I'll either kill you or kill you. I have to kill one of you. Um, and like even taking like Nikki, it's like she could have woken up Agatha and been like, "I'm taking your son," and it's like, no, like let him pass into sleep. It's like, okay, that's nice. I like that there's like layers, but um, they don't have to use Aubrey Plaza like acting all the time, which is kind of nice. I mean, she could easily just appear as a skull and then just voice act. If she's like busy, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Just a thought, since she does do voice acting also. So
Yeah. And so the last character is Sharon Davis, who was uh,
that was funny.
supposedly the comedic foil until she dies very
She
quickly.
fucking dies.
um, and I thought, oh, they're going to bring her back. But then as they kept killing people, I was like, okay, there's actual real stakes here. So
Yeah,
she
I
was sort of
really,
the reference to WandaVision that I guess they felt they should have. Um, and then
I,
very quickly died.
I very much hated though the Ralph Boner addition. Like I get why they had to plot wise. It makes sense. It's just like because he's the only one in Westview that would actually have like context for the entirety of the plot of WandaVision. But it's just like
Hmm.
I,
It was weird, but I guess they felt that they really had to. They had to go one way, like in a strong way, with that character. They had to make sure that we weren't expecting Quicksilver, I
yeah.
guess, out of him, which sucks. But I thought it was interesting to see him and just kind of. Basically, the show is seeing the results of WandaVision, seeing who was affected by it.
The repercussions.
Yeah, so I thought it was interesting in that way.
What do you think of the Wiccan centered episode of him like coming to life and like being reincarnated and like discovering him? I thought that was really unique. I thought
Yeah,
that was really fun. Personally, like that was the episode that like re brought back my like my attention. I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay, because once he revealed his powers, I was like, okay, that's cool, okay, and then we just take a break from that, and it's like, oh, we're not going to just address that Agatha and the rest of them are like off the road and probably die. Okay,
right. Yeah, we're kind of jumping all around here, but
sorry.
no, that's okay. I just wanted to kind of quickly say, like, um, up until that point, it's very much just like the different trials, and it's like um, another homage to WandaVision by going through the eras and having the different looks and stuff.
Very monster of the week. type of like television show format where it's like, oh, we have a trial, we have a problem, we solve it. We have a trial, we have a problem, we solve it. Like
Yeah, but
it's
also just
good,
very like Disney in the way of like having different looks and vibes and feelings and stuff. But yeah, like I said, like that was starting to get stale on me. So then when we had like big twists, like seeing Agatha's mom or Alice dying, stuff like that, really was helpful to move it along. And then yeah, once we get a big reveal with Wiccan, um, I definitely needed some time to really digest that episode. It's very hard to explain. I feel like, um, how he comes into his power or how he is Wiccan. So I think that they can still do a little more explaining with that.
but then later he pulls Tommy into another body also, which I love that scene. That scene of him being like, Tommy's not going to be loved, like he's not going to be accepted, like all these different things, and it's like, ah, man, I love that he's like having trouble doing this. Like, am I killing someone to save my brother? Like, oh man, like that entire like scene with Agatha and like him just talking, super interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Um, to me, that was like, I guess my whole point is just like it feels a little loose, but the character is strong enough that I am compelled to follow his journey.
Yeah,
Um, how he comes to be is a little odd, but really there was no other way to do it because those were figments of Wanda's,
yeah,
imagination slash power.
and it's how it's done in the comics for the most part. Like they're reincarnated, except they're just reincarnated as like fully, like they go through their entire life or something. Marvel timeline is weird.
Yeah, but yeah, that was definitely the episode that kind of got me reinvested, in a big way.
I
What
love
else?
the extra episode. Just taking the time to really like I think more shows, especially these type of shows, need to have their finale in the second last to give you that room to breathe and like be like, okay, where is the status quo going now?
Mm-hmm.
Because like shows like Falcon and Winter Soldier, stuff like that, they all could have done with an extra episode, being like, okay, what does Sam being Captain America look like now? Or what does Moon Knight's life look like now? Like, or maybe not that one, but you get what I'm saying. Like an
Well,
extra
like,
episode for some of them.
yeah, I think the whole thing with these shows is they should have an impact on the bigger MCU. Like, these shouldn't be, for the most part, these shouldn't be things that you could have gone without watching. Like, there should be a reason that you're watching the show. That's the whole thing with engaging people in new characters, like Moon Knight, is like, why should they care? That should always be the question that you answer at the end of the show. It's like, why should I care?
Yeah,
So if they can wrap these characters into the larger universe, actually have this mean something, then people are gonna go and buy Disney Plus. People are gonna go and watch the movies again because there's like new characters that they're interested in, new angles they can come at it from, get into the universe, and then be reinvigorated. Like, that's such a big thing that Marvel needs to be doing right now with their content.
yeah,
Hence why they they just had the TV spot in the fucking episode 8, like just at the beginning of the episode,
yeah.
and they gotta
I
hype people up.
yeah, and I think this show is going to hopefully teach Disney the right lessons. You can make a show about miscellaneous characters. If it's good, it's good. You don't need a budget, like a huge budget for it. You can go in shoestring, and if you have a good idea, that's really what matters.
Literally, the only CGI that I had problems with was the flying CGI in the broom scene. Besides
Yeah,
that, I thought everything looked really good. The lighting was fantastic. The makeup was great. I think this is the first MCU property where we had actual dirt all over a
yeah,
character, multiple characters,
continuously.
and not just makeup throughout everything. You know what I mean?
Every time they de-transformed, I was like waiting for them to be like fully cleaned up, and I was like, no, they're back to being messy and dirty. I was like, okay, cool.
The Salem 7 were
Oh
terrifying.
my god, they were.
That was so good.
I kind of, if any, okay, if I had one gripe, maybe a little bit more time with them because they were they
Yeah,
they could have been expanded upon a little bit.
for sure. for sure.
But they were fun as like reasons why we have to run fast. Like they were like
Yeah,
creepy enough where you're like, okay, that's cool.
right. And they were like, yeah, these are the children of the witches that Agatha killed, so they have a reason to go after her. Salem 7, by the way, is a comic book, is a Marvel comic, group, but they were just kind of repurposed for this, in
Yeah.
this instance.
Um. But yeah. What you also think of them? Basically, I love how Marvel Comics spent like what, like 2 years trying to get Agatha to be young so that she looks like the normal version,
Yeah.
the current version, and then it's just like the Agatha TV show is like, nah, she's an old lady now, old lady ghost.
Yeah.
It's
I
so
mean,
funny.
for me, it was like, oh, finally, comic accurate Agatha.
It was so funny though because it's just like all that work that the comics did to try
Hmm.
to synergize. It's like, nope, not worth it.
It's always such a futile effort, man.
Yeah, it's so funny,
They're
I
doing a
think
Deadpool Wolverine comic in like December or some shit. Oh wait,
uh,
that's what I was gonna say. They're doing a Sam Wilson. They're doing a new Sam Wilson ongoing where Red Hulk is the villain. It's like, wow, we're not even trying anymore. We're not even like gonna subtly do this. We're just gonna
no,
straight up
just
just try and
just
sell the
copy
comic
it.
like that. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I guess.
But yeah, I'm excited to see where we're gonna see Tommy, how we're gonna find Tommy.
Yeah,
I'm excited
I'm
to see
actually
Agatha
really
be that
excited.
kind of ghost on the shoulder. I think that's a better, uh, you know, use of her. I don't think she has to be. I'm glad they didn't bring her back to life.
Yeah, there
When
were
I heard
stakes.
that laugh, I was like, oh, come on, she didn't survive that. That's stupid. That really, really would have undermined the whole thing. So
Oh yeah,
she's dead. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it really landed for me. It had a lot of cool reveals and just stuff that made the whole show. It elevated the whole show by the end.
yeah. I really love the fact that like the reason why she's a ghost is because she doesn't want to see Nikki. Like that to me is like, it's such a simple reason. Um, Also, I love the fact that Rio is like, why don't you tell people the truth about why Nikki died? And she's like, because it wouldn't matter. And it's just like, it's as simple as he died in his sleep. Like it isn't anything, like she didn't sacrifice him or anything like that for power or anything like that.
She
But
probably thought that that helped her scary image, though, like her imposing
oh,
image.
100%. But I think that's the thing is like she was like, oh well, I can use this for my scary image, but like, why would I ever correct anyone? Like I don't need to. Um, but yeah, no, I agree. I think having her as a ghost babysitter is a weirdly accurate way to keep her to the comics, where she's like she
Yep.
watches over uh Tommy and Wiccan, but like yeah, no, I'm really chomping at the bit for like a fucking Young Avengers show or something that like this has actually had me excited. Um, and oh my god, how bright red that hood was for Wiccan's costume. Oh
Oh,
man, I
that Wiccan costume is great.
it was so gas, and they immediately dirtied it. They threw him in the greenhouse and threw dirt on it. I was like, ah man, that's how you know they're doing everything physical.
A lot more adult, I think, in a lot of themes and a lot of
Oh, weirdly
content.
so.
That I'm like, okay, we're finally starting to get there. Like Echo promised it and didn't deliver. This just did it in a natural way that made sense for the content and
A
didn't
kid could
feel
watch
forced.
this. A kid could watch this and not be uh not feel left out, but like an adult can watch this and like feel good also. You know what I mean? Like this can work for both. It's not too like dark and gritty where you're oh, I can't have my kids watching this because otherwise it's like this is a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, it's playing with the witch genre, in a
Yeah.
way of you could take it at a surface level where it's like, oh, fun witches, but there's a much darker, subtext.
Yeah. But yeah, I really really love this show. I want to give our scores and then I want to do a quick little thing with you. Uh but let's give our scores first.
Okay,
I give this 4 Wiccan costumes out of 5.
I'm gonna give this 4 Agatha brooches out of 5.
Yeah, it was between 3.5 and 4 and I was like, man, I'm leaning more toward 4.
Yeah.
It's the second half. It's like Peacemaker, where it's like the first half is good, but that second half just like kicks into high gear, and it's like, oh man, I could watch that second half like forever.
Yeah.
Um, now the little thing I wanted to run by you is it better than the other shows? This is our hit game show where I'm going to be saying different Marvel shows, and you say yay or nay whether or not it was better or worse than the previous show
I thought you were
that
going
I
to say,
mentioned.
is it better than Joker 2? Because that's kind of what our metric has been recently.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's significantly better than Joker 2. But starting off, WandaVision, yay or nay? I think for me, it's yay. I think it's better than WandaVision.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't rewatch any of the shows, so for me, it's going to kind of be, I have to dig back and kind of relive how I felt when I watched it. I really did like WandaVision. I think it's one of the stronger MCU shows.
Oh, 100%. I just think this is more tightly written, to be honest, personally. It's a small margin for me between WandaVision and this.
Yeah, I think it
But
slightly edges it out.
yeah. I think the visual effects for this also help. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, yay or nay?
I would definitely think, yeah, I would definitely say it's better.
Yeah. Loki season 1, yay or nay? I say nay, to be honest. I really
Loki
love Loki season 1.
season 1. Well, I'm trying to think if I like Loki 1 or 2 better. I think it's slightly better. Loki.
Uh,
Loki is.
season 1 of What If, yay or nay?
Such a nothing sandwich.
Yeah, I was going to say easily
Isn't it
easily
just
better.
the last episode, the Ultron
Yeah,
episode that's good?
yeah. Oh, and the Doctor Strange one. Where
Yeah,
he
that
keeps
one's good.
retrying. Yeah. That's like the only two that really stick out.
Yeah.
Okay. Hawkeye. I think it's definitely better than Hawkeye.
Yeah, I'm just remembering how bad some of these shows were, honestly.
Moon Knight. I'm gonna say
I'm
it is.
biased.
I'm gonna say it's better than Moon Knight. To be honest, there's a little bit of problem that I have with Moon Knight where it's like too magical, and I wanted more street level, but that's personal preference.
Mm. I'm just biased, so I'm gonna say I like Moon Knight more.
Okay, Miss Marvel, yay or nay? I think nay. I think Agatha is better. Or wait, yay. I think yay Agatha is better. I'm confusing
Yeah, I was
myself
gonna
now.
say. Yeah, I get this better.
Yeah. She Hulk, attorney at law. Gotta add the stinger, attorney at law.
Agatha better.
Agatha's better. I agree. Secret Invasion.
Agatha better.
Agatha better. Loki season 2. I think Loki season 2 beats it.
Yeah,
Personally.
it's fair.
What if season 2? I think Agatha beats that.
Yeah.
Echo.
Yeah.
I think Agatha easily crushes and stomps on Echo.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's just
So
like
I think the only
none of
show
these
that
shows
really
had real content. Like they don't have any like actual
lasting
like
consequences.
spine, lasting consequences, any like actual foundation for a story. But yeah, this for me like had a story to follow up on. First of all,
Yeah.
had more to do with with the characters, introduced new characters that were actually interesting and compelling, and had a landing that made me care about the future of these characters.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, the bar for MCU shows is unfortunately pretty low at that point.
Yeah.
At
If
this
we're not
point,
counting the Netflix shows, especially if we're just
yeah. No,
counting the
I'm
Marvel
talking
Disney.
Disney Plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then unfortunately, that we're working with a low bar, and then the general MCU fatigue is real. So obviously, the showrunners cared about this property and this character, and they had something to do with her.
If you had fucking told me 5 years ago that one of the best MCU shows would be a show called Agatha All Along, I would have fucking laughed in your face. Because one, what an absurd name, and two, who the fuck is Agatha? like
Yeah.
literally, this is a character that no one gave a fuck about. Like there was no. I'm gonna be real. There ain't no Agatha fans. I don't care how long of a comic fan you are. There ain't no Agatha fans. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Also, we got a lot of representation, a lot of minority representation out
Oh
of this
yeah,
show.
great amount, and it didn't feel ham-fisted, and and the like board of directors says that we need to add a minority like it didn't feel like that. It was like, no, like we're choosing these actors because they're so good and they're also minority and we're writing their minority like backgrounds into them so that it represents who they are. Like it was just like so well done. It wasn't like a surface level thing where it's like, ah yes, my name is Jim and I am gay. It's like bro, like give me more of who you are, please, please.
Yeah, like it wasn't the main
Focus.
characteristic of Wiccan. It wasn't. It was like a surprise that Agatha was gay, but like you think about, a woman who's been alive as long as she has, like
Sorry, I just
there's a
thought
long
about her one
history.
line.
What?
She she said, "If you want a straight answer, ask a straight
Oh
witch."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
That was funny.
so oh my god, that was, oh man, whoever wrote that line, give them a raise. That was so I like visibly like out loud laughed because I was just not expecting that line at all.
Yeah.
And also all of Agatha's witty remarks were so good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much of that was like improv versus like in the script, but man.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe for me, it was just like that. Everything in the show was every line wasn't a fucking joke.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Like
even
that's such a MCU fucking
well,
syndrome thing.
even the jokes were like she's joking, right? Where like you could be like, oh, is that a threat? Like you don't know with Agatha, and like Agatha's the only one that's really joking consistently. Like all the other ones are kind of just like, we're trying to survive right now, please. Hopefully you guys enjoy Agatha all along, and I'm excited to see what we're gonna be having for the rest of the year. We're gonna have a lot of comic book shows, a lot of comic book movies coming out soon. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, support your local comic shop, and read comics. Until next time.